Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires. Swing and a drive. Deep left field. It's his way back. Walk the ball. Reds Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Matt Moreno. Matt, just as we expected, we're talking Cody Bellinger and early offensive awards this season. He was just named the National League Player of the Week last week. This was the fourth time in his career he's been given this award, and it was pretty deserved. He hit .304, 6 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs for Bellinger. And so I'll come to you with 2 questions. One is, are you surprised by this? And 2, are you buying this? Are you buying that Cody Bellinger, the guy who hit 165 and 350 plate appearances last year, the guy who hit 139 while striking out 50% of the time this spring, are you buying that this is the Cody Bellinger we're going to see moving forward?
Well, I'll start with, honestly, I was a little bit surprised. And I think some of it, he did have some good games over the last week, but there were a hitless performance and still a little bit of a roller coaster. And if you look kind of across the board, the New York Mets obviously have the most wins in baseball. Francisco Lindor put together a strong week. Manny Machado even hit well. Charlie Blackmon also had some success. So that surprised me. In terms of will Bellinger be able to sustain it, I'm not going to sit here and predict he'll bat 300 this year. But I think, maybe at least for me, my expectations have gone from potentially being like a 250 sort of league average hitter to maybe getting that up to 275.
Yeah, what's fascinating is, when you say 250 league average is well below 250 right now. And so even 250 would put Cody Bellinger above average. But I'm with you. It's fascinating. If you've watched us and you watched the show, I have been low on Cody Bellinger. I'm predicted him to be a below average hitter. I thought last year was a big enough sample size. I thought the spring, yes, it's just spring training. And yet it's like, if you just keep doing what I've seen you do for the last 12 months, I'm not going to write off spring and say, don't worry, who cares about this? And yet I have to give Cody Bellinger some credit because a lot of the underlying metrics, a lot of the things that we were seeing that gave us reason for pessimism have become reasons for optimism. So 8 days ago, we were talking about Cody Bellinger. He was hitting 250. He had an on-base percentage of 350. And you and I were here and I said, I don't think this is sustainable. And it's because I looked at the StatCast, I looked at the underlying numbers, and his expected batting average was about 40 points lower than his actual. His expected slugging was 40 points below his actual. His strikeout rate was a career high. His exit velocity was down from last year. It would have been a career low. His barrel rate was a career low. That was 8 days ago. Now, we're dealing with small sample sizes here, so obviously. And yet, I fast forward to today. His batting average is basically the same. He's still hitting 254. His on-base percentage has actually gone down in the last 8 days, but his slugging percentage is way up. And yet, his expected batting average has gone up 60 points. His expected slugging percentage has gone 240 points up. The strikeout rate, still a career high. The walk rate, still a career low. But his exit velocity is as high as it's been since 2019. The barrel rate would be a career high. Both of those numbers are now in the 88th percentile or higher in the league. And the way they run's created plus, sort of a big overlying number that says 100 is league average. Where's Bellinger? He's at 149 for this season. And so I'm with you. I'm not predicting a MVP for Cody Bellinger in 2022, but I think we're seeing sort of what he's developing into. Maybe he's not going to take a lot of walks. The on-base percentage isn't going to be great, but if he hits 250, slugs for 30 home runs, and a bunch of extra base hits, that's not just going to be league average. I think the odds have increased in him surpassing that. One other stat, he has 7 multi-hit games on the season. If you go back to April 13th, he's hitting 289 since then. And so it's hard not to be encouraged from the offensive stuff we've seen from Cody Bellinger, which brings me to one last question for you, Matt. Do you see confidence in him? Do you see a different approach at the plate and a different mentality? Because I think that's what's always key to Bellinger's long-term success.
Yeah, I think the answer to both of those are yes. I think confidence is definitely increased from where it was last year and even spring training and even, the kind of to begin this season as well. The approach has improved, but we still see the lapses where he will, sort of chase something out of the zone repeatedly. There was the one at bat over the weekend against the Padres where it was, basically 3, I think, sliders or curveballs in the dirt, and he swung at every single one of those. So I think that would sort of be the next, eliminating that stuff, getting his walk rate up, getting his strikeout rate down. And then at that point, I think a lot of the underlying stats that you highlighted, his hard hit percentage and everything, well, then you'll see that sort of impact everything sort of across the board, and his stat line will then continue to increase.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating that he's been as successful as he has with a career high strikeout rate and a career low walk rate. And I don't know. I'll be curious to see. Like, I don't know if the Dodgers would say, hey, let's make a conscious effort to lower the strikeout rate and increase the walk rate. Or if they just say, like, it's one of those situations where it's like, everything's working. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Don't tweak anything. Like, we'll take this. We'll take 250 Cody Bellinger with a 500 slugging percentage and a ton of strikeouts and very few walks. Like, we will accept that from the number 7, number 8, number 9 hitter in our lineup. So I'll ask you, everybody watching, the same questions I asked Matt. Are you surprised that Cody Bellinger has turned it around this quickly? And 2, are you convinced that this is going to be a sustainable, above average offensive Cody Bellinger moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. That's Matt Moreno. My name's Jeff Spiegel. As always, we appreciate you joining us. Check out DodgerBlue.com, DodgerBlue1958 on social media. Ring the notification bell and click subscribe here on YouTube. And, of course, check out our new podcast, DodgerHeads, wherever you get your podcasts. Dodgers playing a couple big games this week, so stay tuned for on this channel for all the updates on that. We'll see you next time.